Hello everybody, it's Freemium Dude, and today we are reacting to Doom Wolf's Dark Souls video. My resume as a Dark Souls pro includes level 1 run, bow only run, Cestus only run, no dodging run, shield run, and a deathless run. All bosses, no summon. I'm excited to see what they come up with, so let's get into it.
Dark Souls is such an easy game. I mean, you have your pyromancies, your unga bunga, but people still complain and say it needs an easy mode. Well, guess what? There is an easy mode in this game, and it's hidden in plain sight. This is Dark Souls, but baby easy mode, aka sorceries only. We start off with a sorcerer class and take the master.
Okay. I wonder what they're gonna do to make it baby easy mode. Only sorceries. You know what, only sorceries does still have an element of challenge to it, so I'll see what he gets up to.
And we're off. So what are the rules of this run? Well, it's beat every boss using sorceries only. We don't need to use any of them swords or axes. Those are for people who want to play on normal difficulty.
I do think having, every boss for a challenge run or for, a themed playthrough is good because you get to, experience how the build performs in every fight. And sometimes you encounter, unexpected limitations or, things that are just insanely easy as a result of that.
We pick up our catalyst, then take on the Asylum Demon. Let's see how much damage we do.
Don't do that much damage.
Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? After everything I've went through in these games, it's so nice to do actual damage for once. It took 10 soul arrows to bring down the Asylum Demon. I want you to think about that. It took 10 hits of our basic sorcery to kill a boss. Admittedly, the tutorial boss, but to put it another way, we pressed R1 10.
The first boss, you get to a point in the game where you have more health than this thing does, you know? Probably quite a bit, actually. You can get up to 1500 health at level 50, and this thing only has 900 something.
Times in one. Still think this game doesn't have an easy mode? Don't worry, it gets better. At Firelink, we start making our way towards the Taurus Demon, but...
So I feel weird calling that easy mode as well, because if you use an actual weapon to fight this thing, you can get the big crit right off the bat, which does a third or 2/3 of its health, depending on the weapon you have from your starting class. You can do, I think, 420 damage with the plunging attack. It's ridiculous damage you have access to anyway. Most of them you just walk around and hack at its leg. You don't need to hit it that many times.
We do need to be a little careful. For as powerful as spells are in this game, they do have one weakness: limited spell cast.
True. That, and you can get around this a little bit with enough spell slots. You can get extra charges by attuning the same spell more than once, though some of them you can only get a limited number of times too. Because this game doesn't have a mana system, it just has the charges on the spell, which I think is not a terrible way to do it. It's an interesting way to balance, because you just go, you get this many uses, period, and you can make the ones that have limited uses a lot more powerful.
This can be fixed by either obtaining more powerful spells or multiple copies of the same spell, but for now we need to be...
Wow, it's like we're on the exact same page about it. Multiple copies of the same spell.
Mindful and basically not kill anything except for bosses. We stop by the
That's not strictly speaking true. You do one-shot most enemies, one-shot or two-shot, and even if you burn out on your first time on the way up to a boss, you can just bail out and refine a path where you kill fewer enemies, just not all of them. But you don't need that much damage to kill most bosses. But you can also, as he said, you can just not use your spell. You can, just fight them with a weapon. You do get a dagger with this starting class, which the crits on it pretty much guaranteed kill on a lot of the early enemies too.
Undead merchant to buy the residence key, then do old faithful Undeadburg skip. The reason why is so we can free Griggs of Vinheim. Well, why do we want to...
I'm not super big on doing this skip this early in just a run of the challenge is I'm using this class. Just because it takes a lot of sequence breaking sort of destroys the natural progression of the build. It's one thing if you're speedrunning or doing an ultra hard challenge run, but this is what I would call the no challenge run, although this is probably harder than the run I do when I'm doing trying to do Deathless or whatever.
Want to do that, you ask? Because he sells spells, obviously, effectively negating the problem I literally talked about 5 sentences ago. We buy both Heavy Soul Arrow and an extra copy of regular Soul Arrow, which gives us a whopping 7
I'm not big on heavy soul arrow because, like, I think a weakness he didn't talk about. Spells take a while to charge in this game, and with the heavy ones, they take like even longer. So yes, their damage is okay, but man, they take forever to fire off. Although if you get good at like free aiming with the camera, you can do some really funny things. Like I've seen a speedrunner do the Quelaag fight where they use like the heavy soul arrow and just stun a human body, like stun lock her till she dies.
72 attacks before needing to rest. I don't think any early game boss fight's going to be an issue anymore. On our way, we Donkey Kong our way over this barrel and take out the 2 snipers. 66
Oh, as long as I live, I will never figure out how you're meant to like get through that barrel without like either stepping off the side of the stairs and dropping down, or like just going down to the bottom and waiting it out. I don't know if you can roll through it. I haven't like persistently tried enough. I've never tried shielding it. I just kind of walk part way up the stairs and then fake it out and then run back down and let it finish up.
7 attacks left. Let's see how we do.
55, he's
about
got
a
this
seventh of his health
easy.
with 1 attack. I think we're fine. Okay, so there is one other problem with this run you can start to see here.
Oh, he's gonna talk about the spell time.
FromSoft knew that sorceries were baby easy mode, so they decided that the more damage a spell could do, the slower it gets casted. It's something
Not necessarily. I think it's there's different speeds for different spells, and they're not strictly based on, as I said, the heavy ones take longer. But I think the regular soul arrow, the greater soul arrow, like the crystal soul arrow, like they just have the same cast time. I'm pretty sure.
to keep in mind going forward because the windows to attack on bosses are going to get smaller and smaller. For now though, we head under the Hellkite Drake and do our best at trying.
It's true about the windows on boss attacks too. I'm currently doing a no dodging run of this game, and some of them are alright, and some of them are pretty brutal. Ornstein and Smo, when there's like 2 of them constantly going at you, it is really hard when you can't dodge.
To free aim spells. It doesn't go so well. Eventually we landed.
Yeah, free aiming spells is really tough. I do wish they would let you lock on from further away, because you can hit from further than you can lock on from, I'm pretty sure.
Hit and oh yeah, he's magic resistant. Okay, that's fine. I know his true weakness. Windows. Equipping a
Windows. That's good. It is true that like you can just cheese that guy through the window a lot of the time, especially like with the bow or the pyromancy. The bow is probably the easiest one. The pyromancy just hits him in 2 hits anyway with the basic one with no upgrade, so it's like
second staff just for the coolness factor. It's up to fight the gargoyles. We actually used quite a bit of our soul arrow cast to take on the hollows and the hall.
So I actually don't hate 2 staffs either, because you can have the other thing on each hand can be like a shield and an actual weapon. Because sometimes you want to have a weapon out while you're casting spells, sometimes you want to have a shield out while you're casting spells. And having one on each hand, particularly in this game where like there's just better staffs, you can't upgrade them like you can in Elden Ring, I kind of rate it, honestly.
Hallway, but yeah, it's not something I really need to worry about. A few soul arrows later and they go down and we ring the first bell. Back in Firelink, I spot Lautrec and think his ring would look much nicer on my finger than his.
Nice shot, nerd. Yeah. I like that he's committing to like killing Lautrec with the magic, honestly. Myself, I would just kick him off the cliff.
Fortunately, I can't give him his canonical death because my foot is not magic, but it's nothing a few soul arrows to the face can't fix. Down through New Londo and into everyone's favorite swampland, Blighttown, we face our greatest enemy yet, Temptation.
So he took the master key, I guess. He's not doing like Capra early, which is fine. You don't have to, but I do think it'd be interesting to at least like try, especially since you did the Berg skip and you were down there anyway. It would have been pretty trivial to like actually like set the shortcut up and try the Capra Demon.
I guess From did put a hard mode in the game, if you know what I mean.
I know what you
isn't
mean.
really an issue, especially because we added great heavy soul arrow to our lineup. We only get 8 casts of it, but it knocks off most of her health, and then regular soul arrows pick up the slack. Before long, Spider Bay falls. Next up, Ceaseless Discharge. Yep.
Oh, going straight to Ceaseless. I guess he trusts himself to like not mess the cheese up. Because if you mess the cheese up, you can't cheese the fight anymore. Like you can, but it's really hard to set it up again. So like it is kind of baller like going for it when you have like no health and no endurance. Myself, I usually like leave it till way later in the game when I have to go to Islith. Because by then you have like better armor, you got more fire resist and more health, so you can eat 1 fire blast normally.
With both bells rung, we could climb the Forbidden Funhouse, but first I wanted to make a quick pit stop to buy the Bellowing Dragon Crest Ring, then to Darkroot Basin to kill a Hydra. We do this for the Duskcrown Ring, which might be useful, but more importantly to free Dusk to set up the DLC, and for the Duskcrown. The ring will increase our
He did that so early. You do not need to do that like this early in the game. So he skips Capra Demon, right? But goes and kills the Hydra. Like what?
total spell cast at the cost of half our HP, but the crown will increase our magic damage. Well, it actually increases our magic at just that, but potato potato, it makes the number bigger. Now, it's finally time to ascend Sen's Fortress. Normally, we just run to the top and kick the Iron Golem in the shins, but we actually need to bust Big Hat Logan out of prison. Thankfully, the Master Key works on this cage.
It's true, you gotta like do this painful side quest of like meeting Logan, chatting to him. I guess you have to have the intelligence anyway if you're doing a magic build, but like otherwise you can't get the best sorceries later in the game.
For some reason. The Iron Golem isn't an issue. He's really slow, and apparently Iron is weak to magic typing. Don't remember learning that in Pokemon. 6 great heavy soul arrows later, he goes down and we end up in Anor Londo. There isn't much to say about Anor Londo. We do this cool speedrunning strat for style points, then watch this Bat Demon forget how to fly. The Silver Knight is, I'm good at this game, I swear. The Dream Team is up next, and let me...
It's alright, buddy. We've all been there. We've all, like, had our awesome profile of challenge runs and then just randomly eaten shit to that guy. I feel you. We've all had embarrassing deaths as pro Souls players. It happens. Don't sweat it.
Let me tell you, we have 47 intelligence, so we hit like a truck. But so do they. So here's the thing about ONS in this kind of run. Ornstein is programmed to dodge out of the way of projectiles, so trying to hit him from far away is not really going to work. We need to hit him after or during his attack animation. Fortunately, this game is pretty slow overall compared to the later entries, so that's doable. Unfortunately, I suck. We could have just downed Smo in Phase 1, I mean, he doesn't dodge, but I like fighting the super version of him. After dropping Ornstein like a sack of potatoes,
yeah, fighting like Mega Smo is like so much easier than fighting Mega Ornstein because you already know the Smo moveset from Phase 1, right? So if you play this game a lot, you always know Smo's moveset. But Ornstein's is one that, like, unless you're dedicatedly doing it, right, you don't encounter most of those moves. And the ones that you do encounter in Phase 1 look way different when he's like 10 times the size of you, you know?
Super Smo is up. Side note, in all of my years of this game, I have never seen this animation cancel. I'm sure it's not useful for anything like speedrunning, but it's still cool to see something new in this game. Smo died, and it's up to see Guinevere, Queen of Sunlight, and I
don't really know about that animation cancel either. I know you can do it with bows, like you can cancel a bow attack really late in the attack animation. It might be a case of, because it has such a long cast time, maybe you can disrupt it.
Why was I here again? With the Lord
Why
Vessel
were
in
we
hand, we
here?
warp back to Firelink and buy Soul Spear, Great Soul Arrow, and Heavy Soul Arrows from Big Hat Logan. We do the Stanky Leg, then head off to the Duke's Archives.
Love doing the stanky leg. I love finding random bits of terrain where like just your body freaks out because it doesn't know where to put the foot and stuff like that. There's like the bonfire in Blighttown on the way out. It is like you can make it look like you're rubbing one out sometimes. It's really funny.
Because you know what? If I'm gonna showcase how easy being a mage is, we might as well full send it. So we're gonna pick up the Broken Pendant, then it's off to Darkroot Basin to get yanked by Manus and
Oh, right, he's full sending it. Yeah, he's gonna get the Dark Bead, which is like the most insane busted OP sorcery in the game. Like myself, when I did this run, I went to Ash Lake and I one-shot the Black Hydra with it.
face off with the Sanctuary Guardian. This fight is usually not an issue, but admittedly we are struggling a bit because we have no health or armor. And I also just realized we never upgraded our Estus Flask. Oops. But where we're going, we don't need Estus Flask.
Forgetting to upgrade the flask is like the most Dark Souls 1 thing ever because the place you do it is like below that bonfire, if you know what I'm talking about. And the only other places you can do it are like Anor Londo and the bottom of Blighttown. So it's like so easy to forget, especially if you play the game all the time and you're like, I always remember the first one after the gargoyles because I see Anastasia like on the way down to Blighttown, you know. But I always forget to do the ones after that.
Because pretty much everything one hits us anyway. 4 Soul Spears is enough to wipe out the majority of his health, then we finish him off with 1 great heavy soul arrow.
But if you're looking to go like full baby easy mode with games like this, right, and you want to be a glass cannon, you can consider, I don't know if he has both magic rings on or not, but you can get like the Ring of Steel Protection, the lightning resist ring, whatever it's called, the yellow gemstone ring. What is it called? Flame stone plate, lightning stone plate, protection ring, I think it's called. But yeah, like the 3 rings, like the magic, fire, and lightning ones, they give you damage to each. They give you more damage than most bits of armor do when they're maxed out. They're actually so strong and nobody talks about it.
Next, though, is a fight I wasn't worried about before, but after that little fiasco, I'm a bit worried now. Should probably have more than 8 vitality. 9.
Yeah, Artorias, I think, has really good magic resist, so he can be really hard if you haven't, like, gotten real damage outside of that.
Yeah, 9 is good. The legend himself, Knight Artorias. So I went into this fight with 1 fear, that quickly became 2 fear. First, as you know, Artorias hits like a truck. So that's the first issue. If we get hit, we either immediately die or are really close to it. Okay.
Not to mention that he has that, like, jump front flip combo where he can hit you, like, 3 or 4 times as well, as long as that first one connected and you had no poise.
So we just have to do it hitless, basically. That's not so bad. We just need to dodge and land our shots. Oh. Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah, my second fear is that Artorias is programmed to dodge projectiles. It's not impossible to hit him, but it means our windows are even smaller. We basically need to dodge as early as possible in his attack, and then immediately fire off a spell. Soul Spear and Soul Arrow are fast enough to do this, but Great Heavy Soul Arrow? No, not at all. So what's the plan? Well, Soul Spear actually hits decently hard, so we need to land all 4 of those, then we need to land a large majority of Soul Arrows to whittle him down to minimize the amount of time casting our stupid slow spell. In the end though, we lucked out and Artorias decided to rebuff, giving us just enough time to fire off a few Great Heavy Soul Arrows and win. Next.
Nice. You have so much sorcery. It just becomes a question of, obviously he has 9 vitality, so 1 mistake and it is all over, so the less attacks necessary, the better. But, you do have more than enough magic that you can finish him off.
Next up, the real boss of this game, Oolacile Township. I hate this place. Legitimately. The run through this area actually killed me more times than Artorias did.
Real.
I mean, good on From for making an area where they were so heavily aware of the routes players would take and making it difficult for them, but man, this place sucks. We cast Light, grab the Silver Pendant, mine the gap, die, reload, then grab the Kresge. I am kidding! We died like 7 more times between those last 2 things. Eventually, we make our way down to the Chasm of the Abyss.
Here it is. The big showstopper.
Do you see it? Can you feel the power radiating off that light over there? So close. We murder the 4 remaining enemies between us and an ultimate power, and here it is. Darkbead. So, what is Darkbead? Well, the first answer is broken, but the real answer is a sorcery that deals physical and magical damage. It has 6 casts and takes up 1 slot. Upon firing it, 7 small beads will fly out in a horizontal cone shape in front of you and absolutely wreck anything. Yeah, do you remember what I said earlier about the stronger the sorcery, the slower it casts? Yeah, FromSoft kind of threw that out the window with this one. Here, It might be easier for me to show you. Thank you, Capper Demon, for volunteering. Did you catch that?
What's crazy is, like, they actually let you do this in Elden Ring a little bit with some of the perfumes. You see, like, there's some crazy clips of people, like, one-shotting Fire Giant and shit like that. And then they were just like, you know what? This isn't allowed anymore. Bye-bye. I think that was when the DLC came out, or, like, shortly after.
Here, I'll play it again. Now that's what I call speed. To be completely fair...
You know what? I saw a video once, and I feel like it might have actually been this video, but YouTube didn't tell me I'd seen it, so...
We do have 50 int and stat boosting gear on, but come on, that's still ridiculous. I mean, we still have 5 more casts of this spell. Okay, we'll try it on a boss with a little more health. How about the Capper Demon?
This thing is getting a one-shot for sure. It is so big, there's no way you miss a single bead. Especially hitting it right in the face here. Oh, a 2-shot. I guess it does have a lot of health. Like, look at that, 2945. That second one did less damage, actually. This frame, though.
Broken. This spell is so broken, in fact, it can actually softlock you, but I'll talk about that later.
Yes, the moon percent speedrun.
For now, I have unlimited power and wanted to kill something even bigger, so we head back to the Undead Asylum via Crow Taxi and take on the Stray Demon. This big chunker of a boy takes a whopping 3 casts to kill. 3! I hit R1 3 times and he died. In fact, I basically hit R1 6 times and killed 3 bosses. In this game that is considered by many to be quite difficult, I hit 1 button
Yeah, look, like by the modern standards in the genre, this game's not that difficult. Most of it's just esoteric stuff and like not knowing like how to do things right. But like I think this is like a pretty like fun level of difficulty when you consider like the real difficulty, you know? If you have someone to explain to you what the hell to do, like it's pretty good and a pretty good introduction to the genre.
6 times and killed 14% of the game's bosses. Still don't think this is baby easy mode? The absolutely bonkers thing is we aren't anywhere near the amount of damage we could be doing. There are 3 other items that could boost us even higher.
Not to mention, right, if you wanted to like really go baby easy mode, you could like dupe souls and just give yourself like really, really high points in every stat.
Red Tier Stone Ring, Power Within, and the 10 Crystallization Catalyst. Power Within boosts our attack by 40%, but it's a pyromancy, so we can't use it if our goal is to only use sorceries. RTSR boosts our attack by 50% when below 20% of our max HP, but since I'm trying to show how easy this game can be, that kind of health management would fly directly in the face of the game being too easy. Lastly, the 10...
True. I also generally don't enjoy using RTSR because you got to edge with death like that, and it's a real pain in the ass. It's one of the reasons I don't do like real speedrunning is because you got to like jump off things at the right time so you take enough fall damage that you get the bonus RTSR damage.
Crystallization Catalyst increases our spell damage, but halves our spell cast. It's a reward for finishing Big Hat Logan's questline, and we will be picking it up for the extra damage. To be honest, the rest of this video could just be a boss killing montage. I mean, we've basically become Death Destroyer of Worlds, but there are a few funny things that happen along the way. I'll skip through the bosses pretty quickly until things pick up again. Demon Fire Sage held on through 3 Dark Beads and thought he was going to make an anime comeback with that little amount of health? Nope. The Centipede Demon is a joke and would have died in 2 hits, but he has the ultimate thigh gap. Honestly, this right here is the only issue with this spell at all. Since the beads it sends out are decently small, you actually need to be right next to something to hit it for full damage. That being said, the strategy for...
Yeah, boo-hoo that you gotta be like right in the face of a boss to basically one-shot it every time.
most bosses is just bury your face in its ass and slash at its ankles anyway, so it's mostly a non-issue. The Bed of Chaos does a Bed of Chaos things. We don't even waste a cast of Darkbeat on it, and instead it dies to a single soul arrow.
Really playing with fire by not like just kicking that thing. But I guess kicks aren't magical, so like, yeah. No, you know what actually? I would actually argue that using a sorcery to kill Bed of Chaos there is not baby easy mode. Using your fist to punch it, or like a sword to slash at it, is probably baby easy mode because you can't miss that.
Pinwheel is...
Pinwheel. Yep.
I almost feel bad for him. I mean, he's a joke in a normal run. He stood absolutely no chance this time around. Nito starts off a bit rocky because his Skelly Boys are in the way. I had a smart plan to wipe them out in one shot, but I missed. The second plan of standing in his face and hitting R1 3 times works though. For Moonlight Butterfly, I opted to use Soul Spear because I didn't know.
Yeah, it's true. Even if you're just using like Crystal Sorceries and the Tin Banishment Catalyst, like you can just Crystal Soul Spear him like 3 times, and there goes most of his health, and then you just like do Homing Soul Mass or Crystal Homing Soul Mass.
If he was too far away to hit with all the beads, and I just didn't want him to come any closer. Sif goes the way of Old Yeller. Too soon, I know. We take our mandatory death from Seath and get thrown in jail. All we have to do is kill this Serpent Man to get the key, and then we can... Okay, that's a problem. So you can't hit this Serpent Man with normal cast. I don't know how, but this itty-bitty cell blocks my big old magic attacks. Fortunately, I pick up Dark...
Well, you know, the cell was created by a magical wish-granting dragon, so maybe the bars are magic-proof after all.
Earlier, which places a hitbox outside of the cage, letting us escape. I could have just whacked him with my stick, but I thought this was a clever use of sorceries. Oh, this is my favorite part!
Yeah, credit where it's due, that is clever. But again, not baby easy mode. Baby easy mode, you just like put your wand away and kidney punch.
We free Big Hat Logan so we could buy Crystal Soul Spear and upgrade our already ridiculous Soul Spear spell. Seath is actually pretty resistant to magic. Believe it or not, it took us 8 R1 presses to kill him. Crazy, I know. We use his souls to buy all the remaining...
Yeah, well, you could have used your Dark Bead there, huh? But you didn't.
...remaining spells from Logan, so he'll go insane. Why do all these NPC quests in this game end so badly? Back in Sea Soul bedroom. Hey look, my souls. The now naked...
I mean, you know, the game's not called Bright Souls or like Wholesome Souls. It's called Dark Souls. Of course, the storyline's going to be dark. But I agree with you. It would be nice to see a happy ending for like literally anybody, including ourselves.
Naked and afraid Logan awaits us. We trade spells and he goes down, netting us our prize, the 10 Crystallization Catalyst. Like I said earlier, this catalyst has the cool effect of increasing our sorcery damage. Unfortunately, it also halves our spellcast, so Darkbeat is reduced to 3 and both Soul Spears are down to 2. Fortunately, we have a way to counter this. The Duskground Ring will double our spellcast. In this case, it just restores them to their original numbers, but at the cost of half our max HP. To be honest, I was debating using this or not. Having half health does kind of pull away from baby easy mode, putting the game solidly in toddler easy mode, but it's fine. Up next is the Four Kings, and this is
Yeah, that is like one of the things that can ruin like trying to make this game easy for yourself is just not having enough health to just weather like a single hit from something, meaning like every mistake you make in a boss fight just gets you killed.
where we hit a bit of a snag. You see, to even stand in their arena, you have to be wearing the Covenant of Artorias. Basically, we need to decide which ring to replace. Removing the Dust Crown would reduce our spellcast, and removing the Ring of Favor and Protection would reduce our health, stamina, and equipment load.
You don't need the Fat Ring. That's for like regular easy mode, where you like get a bunch of free stats out of it. But you can get another one of those anyway after you've done Jeremiah. You just trade his face in.
And it breaks upon removing it. Ultimately, I decided to take off the Fap Ring because I wanted to bump up my damage with the Bellowing Dragon Crest Ring anyway, so with that, we plunge into the Abyss. Each king takes 2 casts to kill. I'd show you the full fight, but because they spawn on a 45-second timer and we kill them in about 3 seconds, it's a lot of nothing. 6 casts later and that's all the lords down.
You could have fast forwarded through it, man. Like, you can edit video. Like, you made this, didn't you? Come on, pal.
Back in Firelink, I noticed we were mid-rolling. I guess the bump from the Fap Ring actually helped. Fortunately, we got enough souls to level Endurance 3 times and we returned to Nimble. There are a couple
We love Endurance. Endurance best stat in this game. Getting, like, stamina and equip load is just so good. Like, being able to dodge more times and weather, like, accidentally dodging when you shouldn't because of the armor you can wear. It's great.
more optional bosses we need to take care of, so we head back to the catacombs to grab the Darkmoon Seance Ring to make our way to Anor Londo. With this, we can access Gwendolyn without hurting the illusionary Booba Lady. Gwendolyn's fight took
Based.
longer than the other bosses, not because he's hard, but because we had to run him down. 2 R1s later, and we have an eternal curse put upon us. To reflect on our transgressions, we admire
Oh yeah, we're only just now having an eternal curse put on us, huh? As if that wasn't the entire plot of the game.
some artwork. No, not that artwork.
Based.
That goes in the homework folder. This
He got me with a fake art. I gotta respect it.
artwork. Sucked into the painted world of Ariamis, you know what to do. Jump the fence, open the gate, wave at the Goopy Boys, re-dead the undead dragon, and then have an existential crisis about what to do next. Normally, we just jump attack the butt to glitch it to stand up so we can walk by it, but this catalyst can't jump attack. Also, jumping
No way, it can't? That's crazy.
attack's not a sorcery. So, my options were either go through the sewers with all the Will Skelly bros and keep this a pure sorcery only run, or unequip the catalyst and jump attack with our fist to keep this a baby easy mode run. In the end, I sided with the jump attack because, well, I honestly didn't want to go through the sewers. I mean, have you been to that place? It sucks.
It does. It really sucks down there. Those skeleton wheels, like, you get staggered by them, like, you get hit once and you just die. It's the worst. So good on him for, like, breaking his own rule for this. I'm all about clauses. My personal one is Bed of Chaos clause. You know, I call it Bed clause. Anything goes in that arena, even if it's against the general rules of the run.
We enter the chambers of Crossbreed Priscilla and,
Here it is, Moan percent.
what? So you remember how I said Darkbead was so broken it could actually softlock your game?
Yep.
Well, if you use stat boosting gear here and one-shot Priscilla with it, there's a chance she'll actually get stuck in a death loop and you're unable to leave the arena. There are actual speedruns dedicated to this. It's called Moan percent, which,
Yep.
don't look that up without safe search on, kids. At any rate, to
That's one of my favorite jokes, is like, when someone says they're gonna look something up, call out to them, "Safe search! Safe search!"
make absolutely sure that doesn't happen, I open with our weakest spell, Soul Spear. Then the camera actually tracks her through her invisibility and we ping her with a dark bead to end the fight. Good night, Queen. We throw ourselves off a cliff, the only appropriate reaction after killing Priscilla, and just like that, we're back in Anor Londo. We only have 3 bosses left, so we check in on Guinevere for, luck. Then it's off to Horny Jail. So I'll be honest, even though this is a baby easy mode, Manus is still a spike in difficulty. He
Oh,
hits
big
pretty
time.
hard, doesn't take a whole lot of damage from a full dart.
I would say in terms of like real difficulty, like Manus is probably the hardest boss in the game. Like you can use the amulet to like cheese his magic for sure, but even that requires like good timing and recognizing like the telegraphs, which is hard when he's like half in darkness the whole fight, you know?
Dark bead, and he can even occasionally jump out of the way of our soul spear spells. In the end, though, it still only took us.
Something that you probably wouldn't see doing this with magic, that you will see with a bow and potentially a crossbow, is you can headshot Manus and make him flinch, which is really funny.
9 R1s, including the one that I missed to take him down. In a normal run, Calamite is really difficult. Similar to Manus, he has a lot of health, has big sweeping attacks that do a lot of damage.
Yeah, so Calamite is, I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but personally I really dislike Calamite just because his hitboxes are so bad, especially on the sweeping bite attack.
But because we're a sorcerer, we can just kind of stand out of range and hit him. It took us 9 spells, including the one that we missed here, to kill him as well. For those of you not counting, that's 18 R1s to kill the 2 bosses considered to be hardest in this game. Finally, it is time. We drop our Lord Souls into the bowl and descend into the kiln of the First Flame. Gwyn, Lord of Cinder, awaits us. This man, this god, defeated the dragons and ushered in the Age of Fire. Surely a worthy challenge.
I think he like 2-shots him here, because when I did this I like parried him with Crystal Soul Mass up, and did Dark Bead with that for like almost all his health. So I think 2 Dark Beads is just a clean Oko here. He does have to like get on him though, so we'll see how he goes. What I say, chat? What did I say?
Nope. Baby easy mode, everybody.
Baby easy mode.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. I know everyone and their mother has done a sorcery only video, so I hope you enjoyed my spin on it. It was a nice break from the actual difficult challenges I've been doing recently. If you did like it, please consider giving a like and subscribing.
I also enjoyed a break from very difficult challenges to do a sorcery only run.
Helps me out way more than you know, and also drop your suggestions for what kind of video I should do next in the comments. I'd love to hear them. Until next time, my friends, don't you dare go hollow.
So this is Doomwolf. Yeah, he does great videos. Check him out.
Why was I here again?